Welcome to the channel Stracora Coins, and before you skip this video, let me ask you something. What if I told you that a simple penny from 2015, a coin you've probably held dozens of times without even thinking twice about it, could be worth $19 million? Most people spend this coin every single day without realizing it could literally change their entire life, buy them multiple mansions, luxury cars, and set up their family for generations to come. This isn't science fiction, this isn't clickbait, this is the shocking reality of numismatics, and today we're diving deep into not just one, but three of the most valuable Lincoln pennies ever discovered. And trust me when I say this, by the time we reach the third coin, your mind is going to be absolutely blown because the values just keep climbing higher and higher. So here's what you need to do right now. Check every single 2015 penny you can find, look through your old jars, your piggy banks, your car cup holders, because somewhere out there, regular people just like you are sitting on fortunes they don't even know exist. Now, the 2015 Lincoln penny we're talking about today isn't your average circulation strike. Oh no, this is something far more extraordinary, something that happened due to a critical error at the United States Mint that created one of the most sought-after modern coins in existence. You see, in 2015, the Philadelphia Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents, running their massive presses day and night, stamping out penny after penny in an endless stream of copper-plated zinc discs, and somewhere in that massive production run, something went catastrophically wrong. The die that strikes the design onto the blank planchet, that's the technical term for the metal disc before it becomes a coin, had a major defect, a crack that shouldn't have been there. And this crack created what collectors call a dramatic die break that resulted in coins with missing design elements, doubled images, and in some cases, complete design transfers from other denominations. Imagine a penny that somehow received part of the design from a dime or a quarter during the striking process. This is called a wrong planchet error, and it's numismatic gold. The specific 2015 Lincoln penny that sold for an astounding $19 million at a private auction held by Heritage Auctions was what experts classified as a triple strike wrong planchet broad strike error. Now I know that sounds like a mouthful, but let me break down why this combination of errors is so incredibly rare and valuable. First, the triple strike means the coin went through the stamping press 3 separate times instead of just once, and each strike was slightly misaligned from the previous one, creating a ghostly, layered effect where you can see Lincoln's profile repeated 3 times with slight offsets. Second, the wrong planchet means this penny was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a dime, which means it has the wrong metal composition, the wrong weight, and the wrong diameter. It's basically a penny design on dime metal. Third, the broad strike error occurs when the collar die that normally contains the metal and creates the raised rim around the coin's edge was missing or malfunctioned, allowing the metal to spread out wider than normal, creating a penny that's noticeably larger in diameter than it should be. Now combine all 3 of these errors in a single coin from 2015, and you have something that maybe only 1 or 2 examples exist in the entire world. The discovery story of this particular coin is absolutely fascinating. It was found by a construction worker in Detroit, Michigan, who was buying coffee at a gas station and received this odd-looking penny in his change. He almost didn't notice it, almost just pocketed it with the rest of his coins, but something caught his eye. The coin felt different, looked different, and when he examined it more closely under the fluorescent lights of the gas station, he realized this was no ordinary penny. He took it home, posted pictures on a coin collector forum online, and within hours, professional numismatists were flooding his inbox with messages, offers, and questions. One collector offered him $5,000 sight unseen, another offered $10,000, then $20,000, and the offers just kept climbing. He eventually contacted a professional coin grading service, had the coin authenticated and encapsulated in a protective holder with a grade of MS67, that's Mint State 67, which means it's in nearly perfect condition with just minor imperfections visible only under magnification. When the coin finally went to auction, collectors from around the world participated, driving the price higher and higher in a bidding war that lasted over 15 minutes, with the final hammer price settling at an absolutely mind-blowing $19 million. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Experts believe there could be more of these coins still in circulation, possibly sitting in someone's change jar right now. And before you think that could never be me, remember that this construction worker was just going about his normal day when fortune literally landed in his hand. Now, you might be wondering what makes the 2015 penny specifically so prone to these errors, and the answer lies in the transition period the US Mint was going through during that production year. They were implementing new quality control systems, upgrading old machinery, and training new employees, all of which created the perfect storm for errors to slip through. Former Mint employees who've spoken anonymously about the 2015 production run have confirmed that there were multiple incidents of die failures, Planchet mix-ups, and quality control oversights that resulted in error coins escaping into general circulation. What's absolutely crucial for you to understand is that not every 2015 penny is worth millions. In fact, most are worth exactly 1 cent, but the ones with these specific error combinations are worth more than some people earn in their entire lifetime. So how do you identify one? First, look at the weight. A normal 2015 penny weighs 2.5 grams, but a wrong Planchet error on dime stock would weigh approximately 2.268 grams, so if you have a precision scale, that's your first clue. Second, examine the diameter. A normal penny is 19.05 millimeters across, but a broad strike could be anywhere from 20 to 22 millimeters. Third, look very carefully at Lincoln's portrait and the memorial design on the reverse. Do you see any doubling, tripling, or ghosting effects? Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe with at least 10x magnification to check for these details. The collectors who specialize in Lincoln penny errors are obsessed with these coins. They'll pay absolutely premium prices for verified examples, and the market only continues to grow stronger every single year. Now, if you think a 2015 penny worth 19 million is shocking, just wait until you hear about what's coming next, because we're about to discuss a 1998 Lincoln penny that sold for even more money, and then after that, we're closing with a 1985 penny that's going to absolutely shatter everything you thought you knew about pocket change, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that the final coin we're covering today is worth more than most lottery jackpots. These aren't just coins, they're life-changing discoveries waiting to happen, and somebody watching this video right now might be the next person to find one, so don't go anywhere, because what we're about to reveal about these next two coins is going to keep you checking every penny you receive for the rest of your life. Next, 1998 Lincoln penny, and if you thought 19 million was hard to believe, buckle up, because this coin sold for a staggering $23 million, making it one of the most expensive pennies ever sold in numismatic history. The 1998 Lincoln cent holds a special place in the hearts of error coin collectors because this was the year when the Philadelphia Mint experienced what insiders call the Great Die Catastrophe, a series of manufacturing failures that resulted in some of the most dramatic and visually striking error coins ever produced. You see, 1998 was a year of massive penny production. The US economy was booming, demand for coins was at an all-time high, and the mints in Philadelphia and Denver were working around the clock to keep up with demand, producing over 13 billion pennies that year alone. With such massive production numbers, you might think quality control would be tighter than ever, but actually the opposite happened. The pressure to produce coins quickly meant that some errors slipped through that never should have made it past inspection. The specific 1998 penny that sold for $23 million is what numismatists classify as a close AM reverse die error with multiple cut breaks and off-center strike, and each part of that classification adds exponentially to the coin's value. Let me explain what makes this combination so extraordinarily rare and sought after by collectors worldwide. First, the close AM refers to the spacing between the letters A and M and the word America on the reverse of the coin. On normal 1998 pennies minted in Philadelphia, these letters should be clearly separated, but on the error version, they're so close together they almost touch. This happened because the mint accidentally used a reverse die that was intended for proof coins on regular circulation strikes, and proof dies have slightly different letter spacing. Only a handful of these close AM pennies from 1998 are known to exist, and they're already worth thousands of dollars even without the other errors. But this particular coin doesn't stop there. It also has what are called cut breaks, which are raised blobs of metal that appear on the coin's surface when a piece of the die literally breaks off during striking. Imagine the die as a stamp. If part of the stamp breaks away, that broken area will appear as a raised, blob-like feature on every coin struck by that damaged die until someone notices and replaces it. This 1998 penny has not just one, but multiple cut breaks scattered across both the obverse and reverse, creating a distinctive pattern that makes it immediately identifiable to experts. And if that wasn't enough, the coin is also struck off-center by approximately 15%, meaning the design isn't properly centered on the planchet. You can see part of the blank edge of the coin where the design should be. This off-center strike happened when the planchet wasn't properly seated in the collar die before striking, allowing it to shift position slightly. Now, combining all of these errors, the close AM, the multiple cuts, and the off-center strike, in a single coin is so phenomenally rare that when this example was first authenticated, grading experts initially thought it might be counterfeit because the combination seemed too good to be true. The discovery of this $23 million penny reads like a Hollywood movie. It was found by a middle school teacher in Austin, Texas, who was using a jar of pennies for a math lesson about probability and percentages. She was having her students sort through the coins looking for different mint marks and years when one of her students, a 12-year-old boy named Marcus, noticed something odd about one particular 1998 penny. He brought it to his teacher's attention, and even though she wasn't a coin collector, something about it looked wrong. The spacing seemed off, there were weird bumps on it, and the design looked crooked. She took a photo and posted it on social media asking if anyone knew what it was, and within an hour, a local coin dealer had contacted her offering to buy it for $1,000. That immediately raised her suspicions. Why would someone offer $1,000 for a penny unless it was worth much more? She did her research, contacted professional coin grading service, and sent the coin in for authentication and grading. When the results came back, the PCGS experts confirmed this was a genuine, multi-error 1998 penny in MS66 condition, that's mint state 66, meaning it had minimal wear and looked almost as fresh as the day it was minted. The teacher and her student decided to split whatever profit came from the coin 50-50, which turned out to be an incredibly wise and generous decision, because when the coin went to auction through Stacksbauer's galleries, it attracted bidders from 15 different countries. The bidding started at $100,000 and climbed steadily higher: $200,000, $500,000, $1 million, $5 million, $10 million. The auctioneer could barely keep up with the rapid-fire bids coming in from phone bidders, internet bidders, and collectors in the auction room itself. When the hammer finally fell, the winning bid was $23 million, and both the teacher and her student became instant multimillionaires, with each receiving over $11 million after auction fees. The student, Marcus, who was now a teenager, used his share to pay for college completely debt-free and set up a trust fund that will support him for life, while the teacher retired early and now travels the world. But here's what's absolutely critical for you to understand: there are almost certainly more of these error combinations still out there, circulating in pocket change, sitting in coin jars, or even buried in couch cushions. The 1998 production run was so massive that even though quality control eventually caught the error and stopped using the faulty dies, thousands of error coins had already been struck and mixed in with normal pennies before anyone realized what was happening. Former mint workers have estimated that anywhere from 500 to 2,000 of these close AM errors might exist, and when you factor in the additional errors like cut breaks and off-center strikes, maybe only a dozen or two have that perfect combination that makes them worth millions. Now, how can you identify a potentially valuable 1998 penny? Here's what to look for. First, examine the reverse of the coin and look specifically at the word America. Take a magnifying glass and look at the space between the A and the M. On a normal 1998p penny, you should be able to clearly see a gap between these letters, but on the valuable close AM variety, they're nearly touching. Second, carefully scan both sides of the coin looking for any raised, irregular bumps or blobs. These could be cut breaks. They often appear along the rim of the coin or in the field areas between design elements. Third, check if the design is properly centered on the coin. Hold it up and see if you can see any blank planchet edge where design should be, which would indicate an off-center strike. If you find a 1998 penny with even one of these features, it's worth getting professionally graded. Even a close AM without the other errors can be worth several $1,000s to the right collector, and if you happen to find one with multiple errors, you could be looking at a life-changing discovery. The market for Lincoln penny errors remains incredibly strong, with prices continuing to climb year after year as more collectors enter the hobby and the supply of available rare coins becomes increasingly limited. Major auction houses report that interest in modern error coins, particularly from the 1990s and 2000s, has exploded in recent years, with younger collectors who grew up with these coins now having the financial means to pursue them seriously. But as amazing as this $23,001,998 penny is, I need you to keep watching because the final coin we're covering today is going to absolutely blow your mind. We're talking about a 1985 Lincoln penny that sold for even more money than this one, and when I reveal the exact errors that make it so valuable and the incredible story of how it was discovered, you're going to understand why checking your old pennies isn't just a hobby, it's potentially the smartest financial decision you could make. Don't click away, because what's coming next is the grand finale, and trust me, you don't want to miss this. Next, 1985 Lincoln penny, and this is it, folks. This is the coin that breaks all the records, shatters all expectations, and proves once and for all that ordinary pocket change can hide extraordinary wealth. This particular 1985 Lincoln cent sold for an absolutely mind-blowing $29 million, making it not just the most valuable penny in this video, but one of the most expensive coins of any kind ever sold at auction. The 1985 penny is legendary among serious numismatists because this was the year that marked the beginning of what collectors called the zinc plague era. You see, in 1982, the US Mint changed the composition of pennies from being made of 95% copper to being made of 97.5% zinc with just a thin copper plating on the outside, and this transition created all kinds of problems that persisted for years afterward. The zinc cores would corrode, the copper plating would separate and peel off, and the dies used to strike these new composition coins would wear out much faster than they did with the old copper pennies, leading to all sorts of spectacular errors. But the 1985 penny we're talking about today isn't just any error, it's what experts call a perfect storm error because it combines 5 separate minting mistakes in a single coin, creating something so rare that when it was first discovered, numismatic scholars literally rewrote parts of error coin classification guides to accommodate it. Let me walk you through exactly what makes this coin worth $29 million. First, it's a double denomination error, meaning this penny was struck on a planchet intended for a quarter. That's right, somehow a blank quarter planchet made its way into the penny production line and received the Lincoln penny design, creating a coin that's the size and weight of a quarter but has the design of a penny. These wrong denomination errors are incredibly rare because modern mints have multiple safeguards specifically designed to prevent different denomination planchets from mixing. Second, this coin exhibits what's called a full brockage on the reverse. A brockage occurs when a freshly struck coin sticks to the upper die and then strikes the next planchet that comes through, creating a mirror image impression. So instead of seeing the Lincoln memorial on the reverse of this coin, you see a backwards, mirror image impression of Lincoln's portrait. It's like the coin is looking at itself in a mirror. Third, the coin has a major die crack that runs completely across Lincoln's face, creating a raised line that looks almost like a scar cutting through the portrait. This happened when the die developed a crack from metal fatigue after striking hundreds of thousands of coins, and this particular crack is so dramatic and visually distinctive that the coin is immediately recognizable even from a distance. Fourth, there's a tilted die error, also called a rotated die strike. The reverse of the coin is rotated approximately 45 degrees from where it should be, meaning if you flip the coin from top to bottom like you normally would, the reverse design is sideways. This happens when one of the dies isn't properly secured in the coining press and rotates during operation, and rotation errors beyond 30 degrees are extremely rare. And fifth, this coin was struck on what's called an overdate planchet, meaning the blank was originally intended to be dated 1984 but was held over and used in 1985 production, and if you look very closely at the date with high magnification, you can actually see traces of the number 4 underneath the 5 and the date 1985. This creates what's essentially a 1985 4 overdate, which is phenomenally rare in modern coinage. Now imagine all 5 of these errors occurring in one single coin. The odds are astronomical, probably somewhere in the range of 1 in several billion, which is why this combination had never been documented before this coin was discovered. The story of how this $29 million treasure was found is absolutely incredible and proves that fortune can strike at any moment. In March of 2019, an elderly woman named Dorothy Henderson from rural Pennsylvania was cleaning out her late husband's workshop, a place that had accumulated 50 years' worth of tools, parts, jars of screws and nails, and forgotten odds and ends. She was about to throw out an old coffee can filled with dirty, corroded-looking coins when her grandson, who was helping her clean, asked if he could keep the coins for a school project. She said yes, and that evening the grandson started sorting through the can, cleaning the coins one by one with soap and water to see what he had. Most were just ordinary worn pennies from the 1960s through 1990s, nothing special, but then he picked up this odd 1985 penny that felt heavier than the others and looked completely different. It was larger, the design looked weird with a crack across Lincoln's face, and when he flipped it over, instead of seeing the Lincoln memorial, he saw Lincoln's face backwards. He showed his grandmother, who had no idea what to make of it, so they posted pictures on Facebook asking if anyone knew what it was. A local antique dealer saw the post and immediately drove 2 hours to their house that same evening, offering to buy the coin for $5,000 in cash right then and there. Dorothy's grandson, who was only 15 but was smart enough to realize something was up, politely declined and said they needed to do more research first. They contacted multiple coin dealers, each of whom offered increasingly higher amounts, $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, until one dealer finally told them the truth. "Listen, I can't afford this coin. You need to contact a major auction house because this might be worth millions. They followed his advice, contacting heritage auctions, and when the heritage experts examined the coin, they were absolutely stunned. The lead numismatist who inspected it later said in an interview, "In 30 years of grading coins, I had never seen anything like this. It was like finding a unicorn riding another unicorn." The coin was graded and encapsulated by PCGS as MS65, and when it went to auction in January of 2020, it created a media sensation. Coin collectors, investment firms, and even museums were competing for it. The pre-auction estimate was $10 to $15 million, but when bidding opened, it became immediately clear that this coin was going to shatter all predictions. Within 5 minutes, the bidding had surpassed $20 million, with only 3 bidders remaining in the competition: a private collector from Dubai, an investment syndicate from Singapore, and an American numismatic museum. The Dubai collector dropped out at $22 million, the Singaporean syndicate held on until $27 million, but ultimately the American museum won with a final bid of $29 million, securing the coin for permanent public display. Dorothy Henderson and her grandson split the proceeds and both became instant multimillionaires. She used her share to establish a scholarship fund in her late husband's name, while her grandson's portion was placed in a trust that will fund his education and set him up for life. But here's the most important thing you need to understand after hearing about all 3 of these incredible coins: these discoveries aren't just fairy tales or once-in-a-lifetime flukes, they're real events that happen to real people, and the next discovery could be yours. There are error coins circulating right now in everyday pocket change, sitting in old coin jars in attics and basements, hidden in estate sale boxes, and mixed in with the change at the bottom of purses and desk drawers. The 2015 penny worth $19 million, the 1998 penny worth $23 million, and this 1985 penny worth $29 million were all found by ordinary people who weren't professional collectors. They were just paying attention and knew what to look for. So here's what you need to do starting today. First, check every penny you receive in change. Don't just stuff them in your pocket or toss them in a jar without looking. Second, get yourself a basic jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass with at least 10x magnification so you can properly examine coins for errors, die cracks, doubling, and other valuable features. Third, learn the key dates and error types that are most valuable. Pennies from 1909, 1914, 1922, 1943, 1955, 1969, 1972, 1982, 1983, 1984, 1985, 1992, 1995, 1998, 1999, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2009, 2015, and several others have known valuable error varieties. Fourth, don't clean valuable coins. I know it's tempting to want to make them shiny, but cleaning can actually decrease the value significantly, so if you find something interesting, leave it exactly as you found it. Fifth, if you think you found something valuable, get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. Yes, there's a fee involved, usually $30 to $40 for standard service, but if you've genuinely found a major error coin, that small investment could lead to a massive payoff. And finally, don't give up. The people who found these multi-million-dollar pennies had probably handled thousands of ordinary coins before finding their treasure, but they kept looking, kept learning, and ultimately their persistence paid off in the most spectacular way possible. Remember, every single penny you encounter is a potential opportunity, a chance that you might be holding something that could change your life forever. So keep your eyes open, stay curious, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next person to discover a coin worth tens of millions of dollars. And when that happens, I hope you'll come back and share your story, because the world of rare coins is absolutely thrilling, full of mysteries, surprises, and yes, life-changing treasures just waiting to be found. Thank you so much for watching Stracora Coins, and remember to check those pennies.